Take the wings in.
That looks amazing.
They're very spicy.
I don't want them. I don't like spicy.
I know.
I know you're just a little girl and I have to wipe your face the whole time.
I got this shit all.
I have to treat you like a baby, but you know.
I'm gonna need some beer. Maybe I drink. Hurry up. Why is this thing shutting off? What's going on? That's one crazy bug. Well, it's the truth. Oh, I don't care. It's funny. I know. Everybody's pissed because I didn't give you the money shot of the brisket squirting all over the squeen. Squeen? Oh, yeah, squeen. You know, it's a squeen, Jeffrey. It's a squeen. And one great thing about cooking the ham in the, Jesus, or green bean cast. So much easier just to reheat it in a pit. Well, because you don't want to meese?
Obviously, this is a great day. I mean, I'm practicing social distancing, but look at those guys. See, they're practicing social distancing too. Very good. That's a really good social distancer there. Howdy.
Hi.
See, so you can still go out right in the neighborhood and just walk around. You got yourself some wine. Chardonnay, that is, from Wine Till Sold Out. I mean, I can get used to this. I think you can too. Oh, wait, I'm exhausted. Better. You know, and if you don't want to hold the bottle, the great thing about my new invention is you can just let it go down and you just got the tube sticking out. It works, trust me. We're all gonna be doing this real soon, the way this is going. Don't be afraid right now. Just get yourself a nice hazmat suit. Enjoy the beautiful weather. I mean, look at it, it's gorgeous out today. People are working. Ugh. I gotta stop. Refill. So I'm sure a lot of you are thinking I'm taking this coronavirus way too serious. But god darn it, watch one of my old videos and I'll put it in a link above where somebody sneezed in my face. How terrible was that? Oh, his lawn looks incredible. I don't know if I'm talking too much in this mask and that's why it's fogging up, or if I'm running into a cloud of COVID-19. Either way, I'm protected. All right, I better get back to those chicken wings before they burn up. I think my timer's going off right now. If I don't win an Emmy Award for this content, it's rigged. I ain't kidding you.
You know when you're cooking at night, the weirdest things pop in your head. Stuff like, there's a skeeter on my, knock it off. There's a skeeter on my, knock it off. There's a one, there's a dozen. You can hear the buzzing. There's a skeeter on my Peter, knock it off. You can sing along if you want to.
We've all been there, standing alone by our pits while it's raining, just praying we can light a match so we can have a fire. Our main goal in life is to be that husband, that dad, that hero that can provide our circle of life one incredible cook that will satisfy even the worst hunger for Q. So get ready. Ricer is here to bring you peace and end your struggles of failure. He is here to help you amplify your backyard barbecue fun. Oh, can somebody please tell me who wrote this crap? Welcome to Dead Broke BBQ's Tavern Talk. Now here's your host, Ricer.
Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? I'm going to tell you right now that, hey, it's been pretty darn nice around here in Wisconsin. I'm going to say that this could be perfect Viking weather. It's right around that 71, 72 degrees, and it's been sunny for the last 3-4 days. Wow. Wow is right. I mean, my gosh, a guy can go outside and he's not sweating. And he's not cold, so it's been super perfect for weather. I did a brisket yesterday. I used my Weber kettle, my slow and sear, and my Ultra Q. It was a lot of fun. That was the first test with the Ultra Q. Man, I tell you, it kicked butt. If you look at the price of the Ultra Q, it's twice as amount as, or almost 3 times amount as a regular Weber kettle. But man, that thing is it's just sophisticated, piece of equipment and technology. So it was a lot of fun. I just kind of sat there and watched it. And I'm like, well, I got to mow the lawn. Okay, so I mowed the lawn for a while and walk away from a Weber kettle. That doesn't happen that much. Especially when I wasn't having more than a 5 to 6 degree temperature swing unless I took off the lid. It was just amazing. So thumbs up to the Ultra Q. And that brisket turned out fabulous. I had Butcher Barbecue. I used some of their seasonings and I injected it, so it was fun. How about you guys? I did see a lot of you. I said hello while the show was running. I see Sean is in here from Moonshine Roadhouse. Thanks for joining me, brother. And I see that we also have Toby's in there too. So thanks, Toby, for jumping in. Other than that, tonight we've got the two Steves. It's just kind of funny how things work out. And we have Uncle Steve's from Uncle Steve's Shake, which is going to be exciting. He's got his new rub out. And then we got Steve, the Cookout coach, coming on after him. So, it's going to be fun. I hope all you guys are ready to talk some barbecue. And again, this weekend, I hope you guys all had great, wonderful, awesome weather yourself, because we sure did. So, the Barbecue Gypsy, thanks for joining. Appreciate it. And we got Seth, or also known as Brian, the Madhouse Barbecuing. So I got to take a swig here, and then we're going to get going over and call up Uncle Steve himself. I know he's patiently waiting. He said he's ready, so that's great. But yeah, it's the two Steves. Exactly. Steve times 2 tonight. So that's pretty cool. Hey, Ray, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining me. Before I forget, though, this last week's winner is Rob from Beer Champ Barbecue. Rob, you are the big wiener. You are the champion of the brisket rub. So get a hold of me, buddy, and send me your address. And that way I can get that shaker out. It's exciting. I like that rub. I haven't done a video on it yet, but I will someday. So other than that, how's everybody doing? Hey, Josh and Babe are in here too. Great. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I see a lot of you guys are just kind of saying hello in between yourselves. That's good. So let's not screw around. Let's get right into Uncle Steve. All right. Get him going here. I think he should be coming on. How's it going? Ashley, hello? There we are. Can I hear you? How you doing? Yep. You can't hear me? I don't think you have your stuff on, Steve. I think everybody can hear me. Oh, we're going to call him back. We lost him, so we're going to go right back at it again. I'm just praying, there you go. I'm just praying that I don't have any technical difficulties. I worked my hinder off to get this darn program back up and running. Can you talk, Uncle Steve? Can you hear me? Get your other headphones. I'll send you a message. Yeah. Let's get your other ones. Well, let me send him a message here. Get your other headset. The one we used. Okay, all right. So anyways, we got Mona in here. Thank you, Mona, for joining. Hey, we got Johnny. Oh, he's calling me now. Let's see. Let's hopefully works here. There. Johnny from View to a Grill. How you doing, buddy? All right, Uncle Steve, can you hear me now? Yeah, we can't hear you either. Yeah, we can't hear you either, so, yep. Yeah, Rick's Flair stunt double in the back there, yeah. Yep, take your time, buddy. So anyways, my next video that's coming out, I did some lobster tails. I'm going to drop that video tomorrow. That was kind of fun to do some seafood and a quick little cook. Did that on the Weber kettle too with some charcoal. So it's been kind of a charcoal cooker lately, and I kind of enjoy it. I mean, not that I don't like the pellet grills, but it's always fun to get back on that darn thing. I'm here for Uncle Steve Shake. Well, good job. He will get him. He's going to get her. Something's gone. Can you hear me now, buddy? Because you don't have anything on. Go into your Skype settings. Skype settings. He looks good, though. He's got a good backdrop going. I won't be able to help him here for right now, so I'm going to have to wait. There you go. I got something. We're starting to hear you. I heard it. I heard something, Steve. Yeah, come on. You had something. All right, next Saturday. Awesome. Kent, that's great to hear. You had something, Steve. Virgil, thanks for dropping in, bud. We're getting there, buddy. I don't think he's got his phone because he's not reading his messages from me. So, anyways, can you see my messages? You're hearing me? Okay. All right. You did make one noise at one time when you were clicking through your settings. So check your Skype settings and make sure that you're using that microphone, that you have it set in your audio and video. Check in there, and then that should work. Yeah, Megs, you got to do some grilled lobster, buddy. It's like 8 minutes, dude. It doesn't take very long. It's really good and simple and sweet. Chris says he's ready to come on in. We're going to work through this. Uncle Steve used a different thing, and he didn't have time to do the audio check with me with this system, so we got him. Yeah, your mic's not working yet. We got to figure out your mic, buddy. So anyways,
how's that?
Hey, there you go. Now you got it. There you go, buddy. See, we got it through. How you doing tonight?
Oh man, it was working earlier.
Yeah, I know. It's always goes, my friend. It's always it goes. You know, it starts out, and hey, you know, I've had 3 weeks of like issues on my end, so I'm glad somebody else is having some issues finally. So how you doing tonight, buddy? How you doing, man?
I worked a little bit earlier today. Did some shake this morning. Went to work, came back, and have just been excited about this. I've told all my friends if they pop in, no stories in the chat.
Yeah, right.
So we will just cross our fingers and hope for the best.
Well, you know, I think there's somebody, and I'm not going to mention his name, but he is a daddy, and he is a Dutch, and he's trying to sabotage you by something he sent me, and I'm like, I can't do that to the man, you know.
I almost knew that he would.
Yeah, right.
It's one of those things, you know, when you do something just out of fun, and the second you do it, you realize, oh, that was a mistake.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That was it. I don't always have a filter, so I got a little carried away one night and sent him a picture from college.
Well, I have it also now. I have that picture also now, and you know. I mean, it's a good look, though. I mean, it's kind of the Fonzie, like, you know, 80s.
Back for the 80s.
Yeah, you know, a little bit of...
I will say, since I don't look like that anymore, that was a calendar picture. and
Perfect.
I was Mr. November.
Okay, all right. Well,
So
there you go. I mean that
yeah.
says a lot. I mean honestly, it's a good looking picture. You can tell it's era stamped, you know? I mean, it's from a
Oh yeah.
certain time,
Little
but
thin gold chain, a nice
yeah,
leather
yeah,
jacket.
yeah,
Now I
you're
did
sporting it.
retake that picture about 3 years ago because I still have that jacket. It just didn't do the same. It
That
just
didn't
wasn't
do
the
the same.
same
Yeah,
look.
that
Yeah,
wasn't. Yes, sir. So, well,
yeah.
I know you pretty good, and there's a lot of cronies that are out there watching right now. But we do have some new eyes that aren't really
Yeah.
familiar with Uncle Steve's Shake. So, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you, bud.
My name's Steve Brown. I've been mixing a certain seasoning. It turned out to be the original for almost 20 years. Could be longer, but I forget years as we go. And I would mix it in, maybe half a pound or a pound, just enough to keep around the house for popcorn and pork tenderloin. That's all I ever used it on because I love to cook. But I love cooking everything.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
about 5 years ago, I had some at a movie party, and a lady who was there said, Steve, I love this. You've got to give me some. Well, sure, man. It's like an artist selling a painting.
Mm-hmm,
This
mm-hmm,
is what I made. This is me.
mm-hmm.
So I brought her some, and she said, look, I've been thinking about you need to market this. And I, of course, have a pretty busy life as it is, and thought, well, but it happened to be in August, which is a slow time.
Mm-hmm.
So I went ahead, I mixed some up, I researched everything that it takes, the standards, the rules, the labels, the bottles, the tops, where to get them in bulk,
Mm-hmm.
where to get the ingredients in bulk, and went ahead and made a stab. I invested about $400 or $500, made a little stab at it, and thought, oh, look at me, I have a bottle, and it was a horrible 3-piece label that took forever to put on,
Mm-hmm.
but I was proud because it had my name on it.
Sure.
And I was walking one of the big chains that we have here in Texas is called Buc-ee's.
Mm-hmm.
Cleanest truck stop in the world, but no trucks allowed. So it's just travelers. Awesome marble bathrooms, better than mine at home.
Sure.
I walked through there and I saw a guy in a white shirt and I said, hey man, I have a perfect product that would go great in here. And I'll make this story quick. He says, here's what you do. You go outside and you get struck by lightning. Then you come back, you take some of your product, you send it to the home office, and you've done all you can do.
Mm-hmm.
If they like it, there's a place on their website to check it out. If you like it, that's great. If they don't, that's great. He said, you'll lose the product, but what do I care? I'd made 100 bottles. I thought I was rolling in it.
Sure.
And so I took the chance and I sent it back to them and sent it in the home office. About a week later, I got an email because they don't call you on the phone. It's all email.
Mm-hmm.
And it emailed me, we love it. We want it. How cheap can we get it?
Sure.
Which, of course, I understand that question.
Right, right, right.
And, of course, when I finally fluttered back down to the planet, I worked up something and we came to an agreement. Well, I'd also, at the same time, I'd done the spicier, spicier, and I've said it before, I don't care what you call it as long as it's in
Right.
your hand because you bought it.
Right.
And I made it because some friends of mine were, hey, this is good, but this isn't very spicy. I want some spice. And I thought, I'll show you. Because I'm a Sally when it comes to spice. So, ooh, that's too hot. But they say that's ice cream. Ooh, that's still burnt. So anyway, I mixed those two up. Well, they picked them up, and I thought, man, I'm on the road. Now, retail and wholesale, big difference.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I went ahead and, I thought, hey, I don't care what kind of money it is. It's a tiny little bit extra money. I don't pay myself by the hour to make it. It's, can I keep this ball rolling?
Right.
Fill a little extra time. My girls would help me do it some. Slowly grew and grew and grew. And I had a little website. Didn't do a really good website. And I don't know if the good Lord was watching over me. It grew and grew. We were doing 8,000 or 9,000 bottles a year just to Buc-ee's. And then there's a little bit of internet here and there. Well, this wonderful thing we call Corona came along just not too long ago. And I was out of work when kids went on spring, because I teach gymnastics in schools. My main business, kids gymnastics. And so anyway, I was out of work, no paycheck, 3 kids, bills, and went ahead and splurged a little bit and got my website redone. and it's just a simple GoDaddy website, but you can order directly off. Literally within, I don't know, 4 days of that, because I'll get out on social media and show everything I can. Hey, how you doing? Because I'm a talker, and if I don't have somebody to talk to, I need to find somebody to talk to.
Right.
So I got this out there, and within about a week, I started getting quite a few orders. The next week, I got even more. And now, all during the no paycheck time, I was making some money off a shake, and it was paying, at least half my bills.
Sure.
And I'm
sure.
56, almost 57 years old, so I planned ahead. But no one likes to touch that emergency money. But with everybody cooking at home, and I will say, man, with the help of every single great person I've met on YouTube, which I got into the community, and it was, hey guys, hey, my name is Uncle Steve, and I have this, and I have literally met some of the nicest people. Even the one that I know of, and there could be more, but they hadn't let me know. Even the one that I know of that really doesn't care for shake, I think his words was is disgusting. I went, oh, hey now, come on, don't do that don't do that in front of people. But even that guy was pretty nice, So everybody I've met has been nice and supportive, and it's just like a whole new group of friends that, and it's the friends that you do something for if they needed it, So anyway, long story short, the website really helped out. Now I'm back doing a summer job, waiting for my regular job to come back with schools. Sure. And mail, USPS comes to my house twice a week for 30 or 40 packages. I still do a little bit of my Buc-ee's, but they've slowed down just because travel slowed down. Right. And man, just have a ball. I've done my gymnastics almost 30 years. I've done the shake for about 4 or 5 years. Nobody knows me as Coach Steve, the gymnastics coach. It's all Uncle Steve. And you know what? That's fine with me. I don't, again, like the spice here. I don't care what you call me. Just call me.
Call me, right? Right.
So I tell you, I have, but like I said, I've really met some great people through this that have been supportive, and that's helped. We've expanded and just had a ball doing it. If someone came to me tomorrow and said, sorry, you can't make any more shake ever, I'd smile, because I have loved this ride so far. Sure. This has just been great. I've made some hopefully lifelong friends, unless they need to borrow money.
Well, you've kind of turned up the notch too, though, lately, because you went to the 12-ounce bottles too, the 12-ounce shakers.
I tell you, part of it was on your show. Watching your show, I saw everybody else's bottles up there, all the big companies. And again, I say big companies, meaning if you have more than one person working there, you're a lot bigger than I am.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Because I'm front to back. I love doing all, but and I saw all the big bottles of this, man. I saw my little 4+ ounce bottles. They're 5.5 ounce bottles, but with product in it, you can't get that weight up there because pepper doesn't weigh that much. Right. And so anyway, I started, I need to look into these. So same way, I got on the internet, found 2 different companies, one in Houston, one in Washington, and that I like ordering from. So I got the parts for that. I print my own labels for the big ones on a big laser printer. Sure. Because we don't do the volume. I'm not going to do 8,000 or 9,000 bottles yet of the big ones. Right. As where I will this year, of course, with Corona and all, we were projecting about 12 or 13,000 bottles just to Buc-ee's, just to our retailer down here, because we're expanding with them. Right. So, but I saw your show and I saw the bottles back there, and I went, hey, now. That's not just genetics. I've got to step this up,
Right, so right. Well,
yeah.
And I think it makes sense too, because when people are paying for shipping, and stuff like that, at Buc-ee's it might not be such a big deal to have that smaller shaker, but when it's coming, up here to Wisconsin, well, it makes a lot more sense to have that bigger shaker for somebody to purchase.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, and the shipping we use will hold 4 of the big bottles or 8 of the little ones. It's the same $8 anywhere in the United States for shipping, so I've stuck to that. Well,
and then you kind of also have some other big news, and I got that one here.
Well, there's one plus a teaser, and I have to be honest. Part of the fun of this shake is the marketing for me. Sure. Number one, I get to put my name on everything I wear. And I'll get laughed at because my gymnastics company has my name. These bottles I got to put my face on. But, we came out with the two original, the flavors, original and spicier. And we came up on barbecue season. And I sponsor an awesome barbecue cooking team at the Big Houston show. And I was thinking, man, I need to impress these guys. They'll use it, but they're not using it on their brisket. I want pepper. Now, granted, someone says, oh, my seasoning won this award at this cook-off. No. Their seasoning was one of 4 or 5 that were layered on there. Sure. And all a good cook will tell you is, oh, yeah, I used yours in there. It's good. But so we came out with a thick meat. And I labeled it on purpose because who doesn't want to say, man, I love Uncle Steve's thick meat.
Right,
shake.
right, exactly.
CJ, I think he says that every night before he goes to bed.
Yeah, right.
Oh, CJ. Anyway, so that was barbecue season.
Sure.
2 months later, we come around to crawfish season. And I'm thinking, now my spicier is, it's awesome. You lay it out on the napkin. You don't use it as a boil. You lay it out on your napkin in a straight line. Right. You pop that crawfish, you tap a little bit on there. I'm tapping down here like you can see it. Right. You tap that on there and pop it in your mouth, and it's awesome. Well, I wanted to add something to it. So we came up with the Gator shake. We made some adjustments with some levels because most seasonings are basically the same. It's all different levels. It's little this, little that. And we toyed with it. I did an experiment where I sent out bottles, and people tested it, and I sent out 10 bottles.
I was one of them.
That was the spot. That was we did with Gator Shake too.
Oh, Gator Shake. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So then we stuck with those for a little while, and people would say, "Man," and I had at that time my wife, when I came out with the Gator Shake, she said, "What are you doing? Why?" And I said, "Hey, I feel it. I want to do it." She just kind of shook her head. Gator Shake went well.
Sure.
And I swore, that's all I need. That's plenty.
Right.
And I'll be darned, I started tasting more, and I started seeing people doing pork, and they put the Gator Shake on the pork, and I thought, what's good? Because with my seasonings, they're blended so smoothly, they're good on everything, according to your taste.
Right.
One person will like them. Oh, I'll only eat it on chicken. This one will eat it on, and so I thought, you know what? I'm going to come out with the sweet and spicier. Now, and part of it was, kind of inspired by Kent Daddy Dutch's Sweet Heat, which I could smell, and I tasted it, and of course it burned my face off. But now that's not because of his stuff. It's hot.
Yeah, it's a spicy rub.
It's not for Sally's, but
right.
That's me. I'm like, oh, it's too hot for me. Oh, can't do it. So I thought, I'm gonna try to come up. So we messed around with it, and again, I did 10 bottles. When I got close to what I thought, took me 3 tries in cooking a bunch of, got close to it. I probably mailed out about 25 packets to YouTubers, to chefs that I know, to friends, to people that I know like to eat food. Just because I wanted a good variety. Because my shakes are not for, you can use it in competition, but you're going to use it with some other stuff.
Sure.
We did great with our chicken in the cook-off. I think we were staged 2 years in a row. Top 5 2 years in a row. And I will say that it was a lot of my spicy in there. Now, granted, it's how it's cooked. It's how it's, it's everything else. I just added a little flavor, but you're not going to have just one seasoning. So competition, man, I hope to see it pull some trophies.
Sure.
But, mainly it's for everyday cookers. I want somebody to use it every day, not just when they're competing.
Right.
And so that's why we sent it to everybody. We got our results in. They matched up to 3 of the 10 numbers, most everybody.
Sure.
That told me right there. That's the numbers.
We had a lot of fun doing it. Myself and Jake, who's in the chat, actually. Yeah. Our 2 families, we cooked up some ribs, and we all sat down and went through it, and everybody, it was an agreement. Maybe like, okay, number 10 was this person's favorite, and number 9 was this, but we had basically down to like 3 numbers that we were very, very, and we kind of all, so, but it was a lot of fun. It was a good experience for us to do, and we enjoyed it. And I think it's a great way that, when you told me, you want to try this, I'm like, sure, it's fun to see like how the flavors just were adjusted a little bit, and we told you there was a couple of them that were kind of bland, and and there was a couple that had like, and I'm like, well, he's got to throw a couple bland ones in there.
I threw a couple of dummies in there,
yeah. So, and it was fun. The thing that was, because you had so many shakers, I had to make dang sure that we didn't mix them up. So we put toothpicks in them, and we actually put one in number one, because I'm like, well, I don't want to have to put 11 toothpicks in this rack, So, but it was fun. It was cool. It was really a lot of fun, and I'm glad that you got me a part of it. I also want to thank Carrie for sending that super chat. She's sent it and said that she just thinks the world of you, Uncle Steve. So that's awesome. So
that's a cool chick right there. She's cool.
Right. So when when the your numbers, what you're selling and all that. Yeah. What's your most popular shake? Is it Gator Shake? Is Gator Shake your number one?
As of right now, and I judge it on that. I judge it on how many people are cooking with it. Right now, it's Gator Shake. Okay. Now, I wasn't sure this new one that's out, the sweet and spicier. That was a little more, because I'm a big believer in the law of diminishing return.
Right.
If you put out 5, and then you put out another, then another, then another, pretty soon you're going to have 20 there. People will have their favorites, but each one that comes out is a little less special.
Right.
So I'm not making it right now in big quantities, and I've been told it's the best yet. Now, of course, that's what you're going to put it on,
Right.
And according to your taste.
Right.
So
the citrus in the Gator is really good on seafood and chicken, and we love it. Actually, I'm going to say that the Gator Shake is my boy's favorite, and it's right there on the top of my list too. I mean, I like it a lot. So whenever they say, "Can we have some Gator Shake?" Yep, let's get out the Gator Shake. It's a good citrusy flavor, and I like it. It's a good balance. And
see, and that boils down to one more. That boils down to one thing. I don't care what your favorite is, as long as you have one.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's And before I know we'll swap subject in a minute. I do want to drop that little teaser out.
Sure.
There's one more coming.
There's one more, huh?
And I got in my brain, and I started developing at the same time I did this one, the sweet and spicier. There's one more coming that I think is going to appeal to some heavier cooks.
Okay. All right.
And that's I'm just going to leave it at that.
Sure.
People will be. A bunch of folks will get an email about, hey, you got something coming, and they'll get the 10 little bottles, and we'll run it through and see what's going on.
Sure. Pickles from, or Charlie from Pickles Barbecue was asking, have you had one that you kind of liked but just didn't make the cut? Or you're like, I kind of like this, but other people didn't think it was too great.
No, because I'm real slow. When I started it, the original 5. Well, I don't mean slow like short bus slow. I had the first 2, and when I got to the next one, I wasn't going to put a lot into it. I'm not going to spend the money till I have the money.
Right.
On development. And so the ones thick meat, I would have loved to take off a little more. Thick meat is a little more specialized. You notice it's the only bottle of shake that I have that has the word meat on it.
Right.
Because the others, man, you can put it on anything. Now, thick meat's good for cream gravy. It's good for vegetables. It's good for heavy black pepper people. Heavy black pepper people, I can say that fast, are predominantly thicker meats, thick steaks, thick chops, briskets.
Right.
So.
And I like it because of the heavier pepper. I'm a heavier pepper guy, so that's why I like that one. Yeah. That
one didn't blow up, if you will, the way the others did. And I've been thrilled with Gator Shake. I've been thrilled so far with the sweet and spicier.
Sure.
But sooner or later, of course I said this before, I don't see myself coming up with a bunch more because I'm a fairly limited eater. And that's one of the things with these shakes. I'm not going to make something I don't eat.
Right.
I'm not going to make tropical pineapple, teriyaki, Tahiti,
Right.
because I'm not going to eat that.
Well, I
It's
mean,
like eating mayonnaise.
I think you're doing it right though. I mean, if you kind of like, hey, you get inspired by something to like adjust a little bit, and you come up with one. I mean, where's the limit for you though? Have you ever like kind of thought, well, I would like to be able to have a more of a brick and mortar store, type of thing. And are you
I try to
going to
go
that
one
route?
step at a time.
Yeah.
Try to go one step at a time in enlarging. After I made it, when I came with the first two, then I said, okay, I have to find ways to make this easier. Instead of hand sifting through a box screen that I made, a stainless box screen, I ordered a machine.
Sure.
I pour, it shakes, it sifts, and then with the mixers. I started off in a clean room with a 5-gallon bucket, a stainless steel paint mixer on the end of a drill.
Sure.
That's how I started making, in one bucket, just one.
Yeah.
So, excuse me. And so now, I know what's coming next. It's going to be, because I have the marketplace set up, and I've expanded. I'm about to expand, I think, a little more in the marketplace. Next will be probably back to production.
Okay.
How am I going to expand out? Do I want to find a co-packer? I tell you, anybody can come up with a fun recipe and go to a co-packer. The co-packer will mix it up, or a lot of co-packers will come to you. Hey, you're huge in this particular world or that one. Let's come up with a seasoning, and we'll and it'll be a rub or a shake or something. I still want that hands-on.
Sure.
I want to be able to. I can look at one of my seasonings and I can tell, oops, I'm off a little bit. I did a batch of the sweet and spicy here today, and evidently I was on the when I was mixing in some of the sweet, and I looked, I said, that's not right. I can tell by the color that's not right.
Sure.
And I knew exactly what went in it, and I put it in and put it back in the mixer, and that was it. And I went, oh, hey, I might actually know something. I kind of like that.
Well, you've done it long enough, and that's awesome, and it's like, how you get some friends that I think you told me before that you get some friends when you're going to make a big production run. You get a couple of your friends that come over and you guys sit down and, kind of explain how you're doing that, because I think a lot of people thought, to be honest with you, I think a lot of people thought you were a co-packer, to be honest with you.
There's two ways to get your stuff, to get your seasoning in a bottle. You have a $35,000 giant machine, and you pour it in the top, and it puts it in the bottle. I have about a $1,500 machine where I can put it under a spout, step on a pedal. It pre-measures the amount, pretty close. I can top it off if I need to, and then I slide it down to somebody else with gloves up to their elbows.
Sure.
And they screw on a top. And again, I could add another $15,000 and get the top screwer on it. But for that much, I don't know how long I'll be able to do this. I don't know. It could explode, and someday I could be back here, lighting my $100 bills, going, "Woo! Look at me! I flip a switch back there, and let's." I don't know that I like that. I don't like to punch it up on a computer and order, 50 cases.
Right. Well, you like to be hands-on. I mean, you can tell that. You like to be involved. When you've got this manufacturing little bloodline in you, and obviously you're going to see the things that value the most. What can I get for my next production thing that's going to save us time so we can do more work? And that's how all manufacturers are. They get a piece of equipment to get rid of the human extra work that's involved in it. And then with you being at your size, I mean, you get a bottle cap screwer. Heck yeah, man. I mean, that's going to save you a lot of time,
And that's the thing with me. And I look, and I know Dan Arnold has come in a bunch, and I have never met him, but I'll sit and listen. He's a real good guy. I know he's not back there screwing on tops.
Not anymore, no.
But to look up there and to see one of my bottles, even next to one of theirs, or to Crawford's or something, I'm like, man, it must taste that good to make up for. My stuff must really taste good to be able to make it up there. But with that, They probably, and I'm guesstimating, they probably knock out as many bottles in a month as I do all year.
Right.
You know, everywhere you go, I got in a couple stores here in Houston, just little mom and pop stores, and right next to my little setup on the shelf was a Suckle Busters thing. So, you know, I love the fact that I'm up there.
Sure.
You know, I love the opportunity to get up to kick the ball every now and then.
Well, and I'll be honest with you, I've talked to several of the, you know, I call them, like, because I'm a Star Wars fan, like the Spice Runners, like yourself, you know, and you know, they all have that same attitude. It's like, I don't want to be, you know, I want everybody to like my stuff and purchase my stuff, but I don't want to be just the only cat in the box. You know, I want to have some other people, because that gives me more satisfaction that, hey, I'm doing it well with these other guys, and they're in the same caliber as me. You know, I mean, everybody started from somewhere. You know what I mean? Dave Bosca, you know, and all those guys, they all start somewhere and they work their way up. You know, and you being in it for about 5 years. Hey man, the future's bright. You can wear shades, you know, or the future's so bright, you got to wear shades, you know. So, I mean, and now that you added another rub and you got another one, you know, you don't, like you say, if you're doing a lot of this stuff yourself at home, you know, or in your little sheds, well, you can't push yourself out there with 20 different like seasonings either, because then you got these short run ones, and then you got you know, and you got big runs. Well, you know what I mean? So until you have the manpower in the manufacturing equipment, you're doing it right, Steve. You're doing it right, you know.
Well, and it's
no, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, one of the things, you know, is, and I have it on my website somewhere, this stuff, I'm a creator. I used to love to paint and draw. I've drawn pictures of myself and thought, man, that's a good picture. And I'll show it. Then, of course, I'll step over that line and show it to people, and they're, oh, yeah, now that's real good. But this shake is my masterpiece.
Right.
And, you know, for someone to pick it up and like it, now, you know, I'm pretty stubborn in that I'll tell people, hey, if you don't like it, and that's okay. You don't have to use it. That's okay. I'd rather you not tell people you don't like it. You know, then I have to come to your house. But if you don't like it, that's okay. You know, a lot of the guys, my YouTube channel. Yeah. I will never be the giant YouTube channel that everybody else is. I may have 3 videos on there. Now I have almost 300 cooking videos from everybody else. Right. You make a video with shake, it's something good, I'm going to put it on there. I don't care if you have the greatest personality in the world, or if it's I'm cooking now. If you're using shake, I'm going to put it on there. Right. And if you add up the views, it's huge. Right. You add up the subscribers, I'll never be monetized. I'll put it that way. But you know, that's okay. I see those people. I just hope, and this is a message to everybody. If you don't like it, it's okay. You don't need to do videos with it. Don't do it just to be my buddy and make me happy, because you're going to be my friend anyway. Sure. You know, you can say, even the one person that mentioned that Gator shake was disgusting. Now he ate it out of the bottle, didn't cook with it, and that's okay. Right. Even him, I'll invite him to a party sometime if we're ever in the same place. We're friends. You know, I don't want anybody when I start sending stuff out, because I send out a lot. Right. And that's because I want opinions. Sure. You know, be honest, and if it's not ringing your bell, you don't need to cook something with it or say, well, I made some popcorn. Look, it's real good. I am okay with that. It doesn't hurt my feelings. Right. That's a second or third level problem. So as opposed to the board. So, in one thing that you do that a lot of guys, I see them, and it's your way of showing appreciation to people that are creating videos and going to use it or take a picture and put it on Instagram, is that, like, I've got it right here where you threw my label on there, and that was really cool, you know. And when you get into those bigger rub companies, well, that takes different type of ways to get that accomplished. And sure. I think you know how to
promote yourself, and you know how
Yeah.
to. You're kind of a one hand washes the other. If you do
Yeah.
something for me, I'm going to do something for you too, and you probably go further than that, but still, I mean, and I think a lot of people are always obviously drawn to your personality because you're a pretty funny guy, so and that's important, and you got a little bit of salesman in you, and so yeah, you're doing great, keep it up.
Like I said, I'm having a ball, so.
Well, so I think we're going to throw this out because you're offering some big giveaway tonight, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. And
Yeah.
go ahead,
6
tell us
months.
about 6
6
months
months
supply.
supply
Okay.
of whatever flavor you want. And now I will put in a little disclaimer. If you own a restaurant, because I heard one of the guys talking about, homemade seasoning or homemade rubs and seasoning versus store-bought. And he said, if you're cooking for any crowd, you're not going to be able to get store-bought because you can't afford it.
Right.
6 months, I'm looking at 8 or 10 of the big bottles thinking, if you're eating more than that, I don't know how healthy you are. You may not last 6 months just because, you got to mix in some, of course, I say mix in some veggies. You haven't had good veggies until you oven roast something with a Gator shake on them. So, but yeah, 6 months supply reasonably. And, I'm up for it because it gets it out there.
All right.
I know someone's going to share a little bit of it, and I'm good for that. I like it.
I've got the question, and I'll throw it out
Okay.
there in a few minutes.
Okay.
Daddy Dutch is asking if you got any Dutch in them. Do you have any Dutch in you? Are you Dutch?
No, and I don't want any either. So you just no. Oh, I'm so sorry. For any of my younger friends that watch that, I'm so sorry. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I could say that I'm a good mix of a whole lot of things.
You're a mutt like myself.
So
Yeah.
if someone's strayed across the tracks a couple times, I can. Oh man.
So I think what we're going to use for the 6 month is when you first started out, how many part labels were there? We'll ask that. How many parts were there in the label?
I like that. I like it.
I'll wait for the answer.
Okay.
And I have it. Mine is up to speed. It's not, importance or anything like that. It's so whoever drops it in, they're going to be the winner. So,
Good.
oh,
Good.
Jesus. Daddy Dutch, you lucky SOB.
He's quick to get those. And,
Right.
He
He hears me say that they were going to have it, and he's got those fingers hot. It is
Yeah, I
3
guess.
parts. It is a 3-part label, correct? So
and
good
it
job,
was
Daddy
just
Dutch.
horrible. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of work putting 3 different labels
I know
on
it.
one
I
bottle.
know it.
So, but and another thing I want to add to you is that I know you've helped like the police stations, the fire departments, the first
Oh, yeah.
responders, and all that type of stuff. And that's a big, huge thing in the barbecue land when there's the rescues and all them different things, or COVID and all that. You're pretty tight with all that, and congratulations to you. I mean, and thank you for that, because it does help a lot of people with, especially like when there's disasters and these guys are working their hinders off, so great job on that. I mean, I'm sure you're probably pretty close with a lot of your local different organizations also. I mean, do you ever get roped into supplying some barbecue for the schools or anything like that?
Well, no, when I get up to the school, and I used to teach up there, is my daughter's school. Everybody knows me, but I made sure they knew me first, because Christmas time, all the teachers got a bottle. They do a huge Veterans Day lunch. All the veterans got a bottle. We're patrolled by Sheriff's Department, Fort Bend County Sheriff's Department. Love them to death. Every once in a while, I'll see a car, one of the cars pulled up in front of my house and go,
What?
oh, wait a minute. Okay, yeah. Our firemen, and I just, with all that's going on, and never being political right now, with what's going on, whether you like them or not, I guarantee you're going to call them when you need it.
Right.
You can be out there, do this, do that. Uh-oh, somebody's breaking into my house. Who you going to call? Ghostbusters? No.
Right.
I smell smoke. Who are you going to call? Someone that's going to gang up and run into places where you wouldn't go.
Right.
I do it for military also.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do. I've shipped a lot overseas to
Right.
different installations when I get those connections.
Right.
And it's usually through a connection of someone that I know. I haven't gotten to the point where it's unsolicited, and that, if that day ever comes, it comes, and I'll send what I can.
Mm-hmm.
So, but this the whole shake thing. Part of it was I love to give, I love to help, I love to donate,
Right.
and I'm a single dad right now. Hey, right now with 3 kids, I have bills, and so I have to be real careful about that.
Right.
And but if I can't donate cash, I can donate some shake.
Right.
And I may donate 100 bottles and say, now you sell these for $6 like we do on the internet. I just gave you $600.
Correct.
But you got to do a little work, and that's one of the things. I'm not just going to throw everything out in the world,
Right.
but I'm real supportive of people that are out there doing stuff themselves. So,
Yeah, and that's one thing I've noticed with you, and there's a lot of other barbecue guys that do that too, manufacturers and all
yeah.
that, and it's just good for the community. Generally, obviously, the the fire department men and the first responders and the vets, they all appreciate it because it brightens up their day. And
Yeah.
so congratulations and good
Thank
job,
you.
buddy. So I guess I do have a question for you
Yep.
that I got earlier, and it's from
Okay.
Chris from Eastwood Farms, and he wants to know what your favorite Journey song is.
You see, and that again, that's one of those later at night when you're typing back and forth and your brain relaxes and you let just a little bit of too much information out. Journey was my first concert. Billy Idol, no, not Billy Idol, Bryan Adams and Journey and somebody else. And I was there with a wonderful young lady. But we were young, it wasn't anything crazy going on. But
Right.
I'll just say that hearing Journey songs makes me remember that time.
Sure, yeah, and it was a good
that-
time in the
yeah.
'80s. You were at the
It
right
was.
age,
Oh, it was.
So,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Let me do this real quick.
yeah.
I have to, and every single time I'm in front of anybody, I'm going to throw out a thank you to Papa Texas.
Sure, yeah, he's in the chat too.
I would not have been able to do any of this had I not gotten an email, probably 6 or 8 months ago, time flies, from some guy. He said, hey, my name's Papa Texas, and I do some YouTube videos, and I picked up a couple bottles of your seasoning, your shake, at Buc-ee's, and I'd like to do a couple videos on it. And I thought, what is this guy? Because I never heard of any of that. I said, well, sure. And so I got my YouTube back in order where I could get on it, watched his video, and just was like, wow. And the Brent contacted him, asked him if I could send him some more so he didn't have to buy it. He did a couple more videos, and he would do some giveaways where a few other people, if they subscribe to him and they entered the contest, they might win some.
Right.
But they had to promise to do a video if they liked it.
Right.
Well, the videos started multiplying, and I'm thinking, man, and I literally was just thinking today, I'm loving where I am. I'm loving where this is going. I need to buy that guy a birthday cake.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, Papa Texas right behind you. Yeah.
That's not Papa Texas as much. This is actually one of my Christmas decorations I put out in front of the house.
Well,
just like that, and he moves and he dances.
If you trimmed that down a little bit, and got him the Randy Savage voice behind that thing, it's Papa
man.
Texas.
Yeah.
Eric, this is going to be the last. It's just
Okay.
a question. It's not really a
That's
thing.
fine.
But Eric is from Camp House Barbecue. He's
Oh,
just
Eric.
wondering if you would be interested in their second annual IBCA cook-off that benefits scholarships for our youth. So he's just wondering that if you would be interested in helping out a little bit with that cook-off.
You see, and that's where it went. As you were speaking, I heard, and Big E, of course, and I love him to death. He's awesome. And hey, he's a good-looking man with not all shaved up, isn't he?
Yeah, he sure
looks
is.
good.
Yeah, he is.
Then you got to benefit children, and I'm done. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm absolutely in. Call me and let me know if you need prizes. Yeah, you know what I have. Everybody does. I have seasoning. I have hats.
Sure.
I have shirts. I have a gleaming personality. Man, Big E, get with me. Call me. Let me know what you need.
Sure.
I'm all in.
Well, you know, and I want to thank you for everything that you've done for Dead Broke Barbecue yourself too.
Yeah.
So, you know, and it's great to have, you know, a manufacturer that's so involved into the YouTube community. Creators, you know, I mean, a lot of guys, some of them are, but some of them, you know, to be honest with you, there's the bigger manufacturers. They don't really care. You know, they don't really care. They'll give you something for free, but they don't really care. Now, the people that I typically work with, I only work with people that I can establish some type of relationship, because that's how I was brought up. You know, you're going to have a relationship.
Well, that's part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so, and you're one of those guys, and I want to thank you for that, you know,
Absolutely.
and it's like, you know, I'm so darn limited on my free time to do videos. I'm lucky to get one up a week, but you know, and I've got more coming with Uncle Steve's Shake. It's just, okay, we got to sit down, and I got to thank Papa Texas. I've already thanked him personally too, but he did send me one of his shakers with his label on there, so that's in there. You know, it's almost like I got to put a shelf up or get a bigger, wider lens so I can get all these shakes that I'm associated with. But it's fun. You've got a great product. I know you're striving to be a bigger business eventually. I know that. I can see it, because you wouldn't be as aggressive and working as hard as you do, Steve, to just say, you know, this is my hustle. It started as a hustle, and now it's a business. So congratulations
it is.
on that.
Thank you.
Know,
we all work for a reason, and don't get me wrong, it is work. I talked with one of the other guys who's kind of trying to, actually a few of them that are kind of trying to come up with their own special, something to represent them. And, you know, I gave them ideas and the mixes and, you know, and what they should look at. And one of them got about 40 or 50 bottles done. And he called me and he said,
dang.
He used it. He used that word. He said, this is a lot of work. And I said, you damn right it is. It's a lot of work.
Right.
So, you know, it is. But again, that's my masterpiece. That's my work of art. So.
Right. Well, thank you very much for joining me, and you have a pleasant night. If you want to jump in the chat and talk with everybody, it'd be awesome. Everybody get in here, and if you got questions for Steve, he'll hang out and he'll answer them the best he can. So, and you can, I know that Steven shared a bunch of your contact information here. So guys, I mean, if you haven't had Uncle Steve's Shake, well, there you go. Check out his website. Get yourself. I will highly recommend the Gator Shake, just because our whole family likes it. But I like the thick meat too, and the spicier, sweet and spicier, is really good. And I just need to do the final one. I haven't even opened the bottle yet, dude, because I know that it's coming from those ones that we like. And I'll probably make Jake come over, and we're going to do a video with it. So thank you, sir.
One quick thing.
Go ahead.
Father's Day special. You got to get it in by Tuesday so I can ship it out Tuesday. One of each flavor of the 4-ounce specials. We call that our fun pack. $25 plus shipping. So it'll be $33.
All right.
And
perfect.
I'll throw in a sticker.
Perfect. All righty, sir.
man.
Well, thank you very much, and you have a
thank
great
you.
night. You bet, and we'll talk to you soon,
too.
bud. You bet.
All right,
Later.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Well, there we go, everybody. We got to give him a big, loud round of applause on that one. Great conversation. You know, I have had some conversations with Uncle Steve, and I tell you, he is always just fun. He's always got some good jokes. He's just one of those guys that, you can laugh with. So, all right, well, you know what time it is. It's the Pea Break Polka, so let's get that rolling, and then we're going to bring in Steve, the cookout coach.
Hey! Geht's euch gut? Super! Hey!
Super. Sorry, I gotta have a chew. Yeehaw! All right. All right, there we go, everybody. That sure was an entertaining little conversation, and I hope you guys all enjoy it. And when Uncle Steve is in there, make sure you hit him up with every question that you got. I mean, he will answer. He will do his best to answer. Now it's time. We're going to talk a little with the Cookout coach, Steve. He's a young guy with a lot of passion for barbecue. He's a kind of a off and on guest on the Owl's Nest with Steve Ray. If you guys haven't checked out that conversation live show, that's on Thursdays. He does most of it on Facebook, but he is also on YouTube too. And Steve has been on my show before. It's another good barbecue conversation place to hang out. And Steve has his own little live thing that he's doing, and he's with Char Griller. But we're going to get into some of that with him. I'm going to give him a call, and we'll get Steve on. Hello, Skip. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining me, man. We'll go through this real quick. I see Jason is in here, and we've got Boog is in here. Mrs. Boog, all right. How you doing, young lady? And I did see Toby, I think I said him before. Eric from Camp House, obviously I used your question. So, and we got Kevin from Comparison Cooking and Mike Big Cat 305. Thank you, everybody that's joining me. I know I miss a lot of you, but you know, when I'm doing the whole show, I can't unfortunately always get to everyone, but thank you again for joining. Let's give Steve a shout out here. Get him on the horn. I think he's coming in. Here he comes. How you doing, young man?
Doing all right. How you doing, Reister?
Real good, buddy. Real good. So, you are Steve, the Cookout coach, and I know you. You know, we've talked, and you know, we have mutual friends, obviously, and we've talked a little bit. But I'm a subscriber. I've watched your videos, and I know, you know, how that type of stuff. But for the people that aren't watching, why don't you just throw down a few little things about yourself and introduce yourself, and we'll go from there.
Sure. So my name's Steve. I run a YouTube channel called Cookout Coach, and basically what we do there is we try to help you take your barbecue to the next level. And I always say, no matter what you need, because you know I've been most of the places in barbecue. You know, I've been the guy who, well, let's go check the internet, see if we can possibly make ribs on the Weber kettle because that's all that we have. Clear up to, man, I really want to buy a super expensive pit. Do I really need that? And how about let's go play some competition barbecue while we're at it? So I've been all over the place. So
Sure.
If you're running into something, I've probably at least had some experience, and I can share with you what that is.
Right. Well, because you are kind of a studier of a barbecue. That's the one thing that I've learned from you is that, you know, if you get intrigued by something, you're going to try. You know, you're going to start working into, like, how you can maybe do it yourself or get better at it. You know, when I first kind of found you, it was because of one of the cookers that's behind you, the Acorn, because I've looked at that. And so but let's start with your very first cooker. And how old were you when you got your first cooker? Let's start with that. Right.
So my first cooker, like I mentioned, was a Weber kettle. And I'm not actually certain. So I remember that cooker always being at the lake. My great-great-grandmother had a cabin at the lake the whole family used. And there was always a Weber kettle there. And I'm not sure if that Weber kettle isn't older than me. And I say it isn't because it's still in the family. I passed it on to someone else.
Sure.
But it just sort of, you know, I was never really into cooking. And I'm still not really into inside cooking that much. To me, inside cooking isn't as experimentative, if that's a word.
That's, right.
Yeah, we'll let it go. As it is outside with the live fire and sort of seeing what's going on there. So I was always a competitive guy. You know, I played sports, and then as I got older, I moved into golf, which is still a sport, but it's, you know, it's that calmer.
Very competitive, though.
When we can't strap on the pads anymore, we go to golf.
Right.
But so, long story short, they sold the cabin. The Weber kettle came home to my dad's house, and he was a gas grill guy. He says, "Hey, do you want this?" And you know, I was recently married. I said, "Sure. You know, let's let's figure this out. So I'd burn some steaks on their hot dogs or whatever. And yeah, it got to the point where there's one constant for barbecue where I live, and that's Texas Roadhouse. And, it's for a chain, that's okay ribs. There's nothing wrong with Texas Roadhouse ribs.
No.
But there was one little joint that made some really good baby back, or at least at the time, what I perceived as really good baby back ribs. If I go back now, they were probably made in a crock pot or something. Anyways, that's a different story. I loved them.
Right.
Well, the owner got sick and they had to shut down. So, one day at work, it's sort of what happens when you move into that middle age. Is suddenly at work, you're talking to your coworkers about, how I like to mow the grass with certain crosshatches on it. And, maybe I'll try some barbecue this week. And so it sort of became a little challenge. We're all going to go home and try to make barbecue. And so I got on the website. I didn't know it at the time, but looking back, it was meatheadsamangingribs.com.
Sure.
And at the time, Meathead had really detailed instructions on how to smoke things on a Weber kettle with a 2-zone fire, and he was using water pans. So we got down to it on that Weber kettle, and they weren't terrible. They were tough. They definitely were tough, but they were safe, and they tasted like barbecue baby back ribs.
Right.
And the Weber kettle carried me a long way, as it has for a lot of people, really.
Well, and you mentioned Amazing Ribs, Meathead and all that. That is like, and I'm kind of new to that website, to be honest with you, because where I lived in the past on the farm, I didn't have any internet. I mean, there was no internet. And if I was looking at the internet at work, other than work stuff, I couldn't get away with it. I mean, there just wasn't allowed. So in the past 8 years, I think is, if that is when I started checking out Amazing Rib. And that is a fantastic resource for any beginner backyard barbecuer. You don't have to be a beginner. If you just kind of want to up your game in a different fashion, yeah, it's great. And when you mention that, I don't know if a lot of people, if as many people know about that website as they should, because if you want to learn how to cook something, go there.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I 100% agree. And it's sort of, the internet's had phases, right? And Amazing Ribs was from the phase where Google SEO dominated everything. And now we've sort of moved into the world that you and I live in. And that's if something's going on and we need to figure out how to do something, we go to YouTube. But I agree with you 100%. Like, for the new person moving into barbecue, if you don't want to come to YouTube and watch me or you talk about how to cook stuff, if you go to AmazingRibs.com, I don't necessarily agree with everything the Meathead says about everything these days, but to get started, he cuts through a lot of those myths, I guess.
Yep, I agree. So then you started cooking with that Weber. What got you to the next cooker that you got?
Well, so that Weber had no thermometers on it, and I owned no temperature. I had the old metal meat probes that you stuck. So I was cooking with no temperature at all. It was all guess. It wasn't great. It got to the point where it was okay. I could do some chicken wings. Chicken wings were my specialty, and that was about it.
Right.
So I ended up buying an electric smoker. It was the Black Friday week on Amazon, and they were having a special on electric smokers. And I got to thinking about it, and what getting that electric smoker was going to allow me to do was stop worrying about maintaining a temperature on a pit or wondering what the temperature is on a pit.
Sure.
And at the same time, it also had a meat probe, so I would also know the internal temperature of what I was cooking. And just taking those two variables out of what I was doing really changed the game for me. It allowed me to focus on techniques, and we could suddenly play games with, well, at 200 this is still a little tough, but at 206 this pork butt is just fantastic.
Right.
So that really, and I don't really recommend electric smokers to folks nowadays, just with how available pellet cookers are these days.
Right.
And they're going to cook more like a regular pit. Like your rider is going to cook more like if you want to go out and hook up your Ultra Q to your charcoal smoker.
Right.
It's going to be the same thing, because it's going to be convection as opposed to electric smokers more like an oven.
Right.
But just being able to dumb it down for me for a little bit, just to watch the process, made all the world difference.
Well, when you say the electric smoker, though, I will say that the electric smoker is what got probably 50% of the backyarders into actually, instead of just cooking brats and hamburgers and steaks, into doing some ribs and stuff like that outside of a crock pot, because it really was like, hey, I don't really know how to do this and I can't. So boom, buy the electric smoker. I mean, there's a lot of people that still run electric smokers that are my friends that really don't do a lot of, barbecue, but they're interested in it. And then the next step for those people is instantly into a pellet grill because of the convenience of not having, they don't run 100% accurate like what the temperature is going to say, but it's going to be able to kind of no guessing. It takes a lot of the guessing out of it. So I think the pellet grill is the new electric smoker. You know what I mean? So, but with you saying that you started at that, that doesn't surprise me at all. It really doesn't, because a lot of people did. So then you got into, what made you buy the Acorn? I mean, that's a good little cooker, and you're not the only YouTuber that's used an Acorn. I mean, I think of like Justin from Baby Back Maniac. He's got one, and he's done some great food on it, and he's done some comparison cooks with it, and he's picked that one as the winner. That's a solid little cooker. But what made you say, hey, I'm going to buy this?
Yeah, so it's funny you mentioned that. Justin had a big role in that, because at the time, so the evolution of it was, I learned that there was a KCBS barbecue competition right down the road from me. The only one in my state. And I knew I wanted to compete. Like I said, I've heard you talk about it on other shows. You've got that competitive thing. It's the whole reason you don't get into competition barbecue. Because,
it would destroy my life. Yes, exactly.
And so I try to pull the reins back as best I could, but that's my vice right now. And you can't use an electric smoker in a barbecue competition.
Right.
So I knew I had to make a change. And I still had the kettle, and I'd gotten better on the kettle, but I kind of wanted to try out the Kamado world. And I was looking through Kamado Joe's, Big Green Eggs, Weber, Summits, and at the time, if you searched Kamado anything, Justin came up, and he makes fantastic videos. So I watched those things over and over and over, listened to what he had to say about them. And at the end of the day, I knew I wanted to try the Kamado. I didn't know if I wanted to try the Kamado $1,500 worth.
Right.
So to me, a $300 Acorn was a worthy investment. And I went into it knowing that, this thing's insulated a little heavier than other things. It's going to want to run at a higher temperature. So we played in the beginning to see if we could hold a lower temperature. And you can if you make certain setup choices.
Right.
But as time went on and I used it, I just learned if you just let it run where it wants to run, it's a dandy of a little cooker for the price. And you don't have that ceramic fear, or at least I have a ceramic fear of. I walk by them in Lowe's or Home Depot, and I'm afraid I'm going to knock them over and they're going to make me pay for them. So, being metal, there's a little bit of insurance there.
Exactly. Now that you have done enough on YouTube, you are actually sponsored by Char Griller, if I'm correct.
Yeah. So that was a crazy week. So we did the very first competition back in June of 2018.
Okay.
I got beat by 2 points by a guy who at the time I didn't know it. I knew he had won that event the previous year, but he was sort of the big dog in the amateur division. He'd just been this was sort of his victory lap year in the amateur division. Everyone knew he was going to go pro the next year, and I almost got him on my first try.
Right.
So I wanted another shot at him. So like any normal person, I go and I start Facebook stalking his team, and he had a list of all the events that he was going to go to, and on there he had listed the Jack Daniel's World Championship Shade Tree.
Sure.
And for folks that don't know about comp barbecue, the Jack Daniel's is one of the big 3 or 4 events in the world.
Correct.
And I had no idea there was an amateur division there. So I hit him up because it suddenly became my goal for the next year. Okay, I know this guy's running the table on everybody, so he clearly won his way in. So how do I position myself to do that? And he sort of let me know that, hey, this is just a lottery draw. It's just an amateur event. You can get it into this year if you want. We put in. Somehow we drew. So for our second ever competition, we're going to adjacent to the World Championship with some serious backyarders.
Right.
Well, time goes on. I'm prepping for that the whole time. I tried to document that series as best I could. The week leading up to the Jack, couple things happened. I hit 1,000 subscribers on Monday. I hit 4,000 hours of watch time, which I don't know if that's still a thing, but those were the 2 gates to be monetized.
Sure.
So suddenly,
sure.
in the same week we're getting to go to the Jack, I hit both of the gates to monetize at the same time. I was like, oh, this is a good week. And then at the same time, Char Griller had put out an open call saying, hey, we're looking for brand ambassadors. Anybody would like, you think you're worth it, or you think you want to work with us, send us your stuff, and we'll let you know. Then like Friday, I think I was in Lynchburg when I got the email from them saying, hey, yep, you're already making videos with our stuff anyways. We'd love to work with you. So we're about halfway through our 2nd year now. And honestly, they've been great to work with. Like I didn't know what working with a company would be like, but sort of last year, I guess we sort of got to know each other a little bit. And this year they've established enough trust in me that over on their Facebook page, we host live cooks. We've got an actual live rib cook coming up here either next weekend or the following weekend.
Okay.
Where just all day we're going to check in while we're cooking some ribs. And, it's been really neat. We interact with the entire Char Griller community and answer questions. And I've even actually been pulled in on a couple customer support emails.
Oh, cool.
Like I'll just be in my middle of a work day and I'll get an email. Hey, so-and-so has a problem. You got any ideas?
Right.
Sure. If you want me to answer them, I can let them
help
know
you
what I
out.
think.
That's cool. I mean, that's cool that they trust you so much and they know that you know the product well enough where they'll say, hey, what do you think? So that's a compliment to you, bud. Big time, We got Sean from Moonshine's Roadhouse. He's asking you, what's your favorite type of grill and what's the favorite thing that you like the most to cook?
Well,
I know what the cook is, but I want to know your thing.
I've been very vocal about that from the get-go.
Right.
Actually, I've got a funny story about that too. So here's the thing. If I've got all day to myself, I've got a Competition Pro. It's a Char Griller offset sitting over there. And it's fun to sit there and throw sticks. And I actually used that as a competition cooker last year. I cooked my ribs on it. And I cook about the same barbecue on any cooker. But there is something magical about throwing hickory sticks into a stick burner and just smelling that pure, clean hickory smoke coming out of the exhaust.
Right.
That being said, like you, I've got 2 kids myself. There's 2 dogs running around all the time. And both of these behind me, I know I can pull them out in the driveway, get it up and running in half an hour, and I can leave it alone for hours, and it's going to do what I expect it to do. So that's why more often than not, you're going to see me drag an Eggcorn out of the house just because I heard you say in the first hour there, sometimes it's hard to get one video out a week. And when you've got a cooker that you can trust to kind of do its thing while you're wrangling children or trying to get some chores done around the house, it's hard to turn that down. It's hard to find the time to do a more involved cook on another one. So that's my go-to. Now, what I like to cook, the answer is ribs. It's ribs, ribs, and more ribs. Baby back or St. Louis. I've been into St. Louis a lot recently, but that sort of goes into mastering the craft of competition cooking. If I'm going to cook them, I'd like to practice them. But my first love, what brought me to barbecue in the first place, is just baby back ribs.
Back ribs, yeah.
A good slab of baby back ribs is just hard to beat in my book.
Right, and I agree with you. I'm more of a St. Louis style type of guy. I still like baby back, the loin ribs and all that, but for whatever reason, when I go to Costco and I look at the packs, I'm always grabbing St. Louis, and it's nothing because they taste any better or anything like that. I think it usually goes that the chime on the baby backs always piss me off, So it's like I always end up, we lost them here. Are you back? Did we lose you, Steve? Are you
got
there?
Me?
Yeah, we got you now. I don't know what happened there.
I still hear you.
Yeah, you're still on.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. That's a little, the Skype gremlin. You're okay. But I like the regular St. Louis ribs more because of the chime on the loin backs. It's just for whatever reason that chime pisses me off, and I got to sit and cut around them, and or try to get through them, and what I know it sounds like petty, but it is a deal for me. So but they're both good.
I hear you 100% there. And that's I'll cook them a tad over because I like to eat them with a fork.
Right.
I'll sit there and I'll knock one bone out of the way and grab everything off the one with the fork, and blasphemy maybe, but delicious always. I don't
Well,
know.
you know, I mean, a lot of people, they'll say like, oh, the videos in YouTube, you always want that bite off the bone because, that's just a deal. But in all reality, what we like to do a lot of times, I will purposely overcook ribs sometimes because we make it into a chop. We pull the bones out, get all that out of there, and it's the best on buns and stuff like that. Man, a good old rib sandwich like that is freaking fantastic. So,
Yeah.
but so you're with the comp and the COVID stuff, with that happening, I know you had a lot of plans to do a little bit more competition this year. What are you looking at now? Is anything starting to open up around your area where you can go do some comps?
Yeah. So our first competition this year is going to be, let's see. So we're through this weekend. So 2 weekends from now, the 27th, I think, of June,
Okay.
we're actually going to be at one in, it's the York County Barbecue Festival in Delta, PA.
Okay.
I think it's minus festival this year, but they're still having the competition. So, and it was that contest is a little bit special to me. It was my first grand championship last year.
Sure.
So we're going to go back and try to repeat. I'm sure I just jinxed the bejesus out of it right there by even saying that out loud. But
Right.
it was a great little contest last year. They give away cool trophies, and in the backyard division, that's one thing I love about doing the backyard as opposed to pros. I don't have a ton of money invested into going to a competition, so it's a great time, and it doesn't really matter to me too much what the payouts are. But man, I love it when they got cool trophies.
Sure.
That's what I'm all about.
So, I know a little bit about your secret, and it's been not really a secret because you've talked about it like on Steve Ray's show and stuff like that, for an example, that, you've got your own little cooker that you made. You've been working on this thing, and I don't remember the nickname for it. It's like the Beast or something like that. But so what inspired you to grab some steel and start putting that together?
Well, so I cooked I have a bad habit, Ricer, of I always want all the cookers. I want to cook on everything.
Sure.
And one thing that I'd never cooked on was a can or a barrel style cooker.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of where the idea for this started. And what that cooker is called, the plans it's based off of is called the Franken Cube.
Okay.
I like to call it the D Cube. I also call it Bonnie McMurray.
Okay.
But she goes by several names. But
Sure.
I just had some downtime, and I was trying to plan on if we would have gone pro this year. I was trying to think ahead and say, okay, what's the most efficient cooker that I can make so I don't have to have a big rig to go compete pro.
Right.
And the cans are really popular on the competition trail, and they're light, they're easy to move around.
Right.
But most guys are running 3 or 4 of them, and I didn't really want to have to wrangle that many. So I thought, well, if I make one large square drum, I can probably fit everything on there. And I did some searching, and I found this thing called a Franken Cube from several years ago on YouTube. A guy named Frank Cox built it. He still builds stuff and still does stuff on YouTube, actually, at a channel and a website called Smoker Builder MFG.
Okay.
And he's a real personable guy. He's really easy to get a hold of. I actually got a hold of him on Facebook. And I asked him, Frank, you ever released the plans for the Franken Cube? Because I know he sold smoker plans. That's what he does. He builds smokers. He sells smoker plans. He said, no, I never did it, but give me a call. So I called him, and because I had told him I was a YouTuber, and YouTuber, hate that term. But I told him we had an audience, and he said, well, if you think people would like to see it, I can draw up the plans, and we can get it out, and we can sell it to you, and you can build it and tell me what you think. So that's exactly what we did. And it's funny because it started out, I think about December or January. It had to be January. Me and my brother started welding on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the backstory to that is I grew up on a farm, so we broke stuff all the time. So we have welders because
Sure.
you break things, you fix things.
Right.
And my brother isn't a welder, but he's a pretty good welder.
Right.
So I knew that if I got the steel and did the grunt work of cutting things and grinding things down, he would weld it together for me. And he's
Sure.
also the other part of my competition team.
Right.
So we were hammering it, trying to get this thing built, before March. That was our first competition of the year. And we got it built 2 weekends before the first competition. And then COVID happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I have had all the time in the world to practice on Bonnie. And I actually ran a practice cook today.
Ah, cool.
I'm really excited to drag her out to York. Actually, I can see, I'm in my garage if people can't tell. I can see through that window there is a retired ambulance that has a wheelchair lift on it. Because what I didn't figure out was that 10-gauge steel, that much of it, is about 600 pounds.
Right.
So there's no throwing it in the back of a pickup truck. And I have neglected to purchase a trailer yet. So we've dubbed that the ambulance or the meat wagon. Take your pick.
Your meat wagon, yeah.
And it's going to carry the D Cube to the competitions.
Cool.
We are a hot mess of redneckedness.
But that's awesome, though. I mean, you got a little bit different style on that, and I like that. You know, I mean, that's cool. You know, and you dress up that. I like the meat wagon. You know, you dress that up, and you get green lights on it or something like that, so you don't get in trouble from but you start throwing them on. You know, it'd be pretty cool, man. So,
I'm excited to get it wrapped.
I'm excited to finally actually see it. So, and I was going to mention that I think the first time that I found your channels, probably 2 years almost now, is you did a cook on some iron mixing equipment.
Yeah.
And
that was a super cool cook.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I found you way back then. And because I really like that water cooker of his. It's just beautiful, and it's a beautiful price too. And that's one thing with us. A lot of people, like with us YouTubers, and I agree, YouTubers, but it's the truth. I mean, we see all these cookers, and our list of wants is so stupidly huge that in the reality of going and buying a iron mixing, you better be planning, to do some serious comp work or cooking for parties and stuff like that with that type of rig. I mean, not like his pellet grills and stuff like that, but when you start getting into that big chamber like that, boy, oh boy, so.
And I still tell people to this day, it's no secret. As far as the production smokers go, if you told me I could go buy any production smoker out there, it's a Myron Mixon H2O. That thing was absolutely amazing. It did things I've never seen other cookers do.
Sure.
What it came down to is I don't have a way to get that to and from without making a much larger investment in my competition infrastructure.
Right.
So maybe one day we'll make that move. But for now, we're building and rolling our own cookers, and we'll see how that goes.
You start winning, and you get those big checks, man. Then you get these big sponsorships. It's a different story, So, but so I always ask everybody this that's an actual YouTuber. What is something that you're planning on doing to enhance your YouTube channel more than your comp, but to enhance your YouTube? What do you got going on? What are you thinking about doing?
Yeah, so I guess the easy answer and the cop-out answer is I plan to upgrade some equipment. I've literally ran since December of 2017 on varying iPhones and shotgun or lapel mics.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I sit back as I'm making a video and say, man, I wish people could see the shoestrings and spit that's holding this thing together. Because between kids and dogs, I've got a set that's like 4 feet by 4 feet.
Right.
I'm not allowed to show anything else because, with kids are over here making a mess. So my wife will beat me if I show that. There's several DSLRs, mirrorless DSLRs. I've been meaning to make a move on for a long time, and it looks like this year is probably going to be the time for me to do that.
All right, cool. Well, before you do anything, talk to me. I'll help you out, and I'll give you some advice on some equipment. So
appreciate that for sure. But the bigger thing is I'm really trying to move into more of sort of a storytelling aspect, or at least letting people know more what I've been told before recently, actually, that people want to know more of what I think about the way I've structured my YouTube to this point is sort of how I like to enjoy it, and that's more of what you would call, I guess, transactional use. How do I change a tire on a car? Watch it, great, now I'm out.
Right.
And I don't remember that guy. So I make videos that answer questions that you're looking for, and I'm going to try to help you out.
Mm-hmm.
I try not to be like, well, I think hickory is the best smoking wood because it smells fantastic. If you don't like that, well, maybe you're doing it wrong.
Right.
I don't make those videos. But if you're going to ask me what the best smoking wood is, the answer for me is hickory. And if you don't like it, let's talk about it, because maybe you got something a little messed up there and I can help you out.
Right.
So I guess everything's in how you present it.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think I'm just going to try to show a little bit more of who I am as a cooker, as a pit master, if you want to say that. People get all funny about that term too. And sort of just stories. And the reason that we haven't unveiled the cube yet, and I was actually going to put it behind me tonight, but the weather is absolutely terrible.
Sure.
Is because that video is actually in progress, and that video is taking longer than any other video I've ever made, because I'm really trying to tell the story. Because I don't know if people really understand how much I like to compete and how much that drove the creation of this cube. And every little thing in this cube is custom designed or modified by me to fit a specific purpose for how I like to cook.
Sure.
And I really want to get that across to people, because I've only got one shot.
Right. Well, and that's with that type of cooker with you from start to finish, and then you're going to do a cook and present it. That isn't an 8-hour day, video, unfortunately. No. So,
no. Yeah, I've got hours of footage for that.
Charlie from Pickles Barbecue is asking, how does he see other platforms like Facebook and Instagram and TikTok? How do you feel about those other platforms?
I like them. I don't use TikTok. I am active on Facebook and on Instagram. Mm-hmm. Instagram's easy to me. It's easy to do with some level of mediocrity. Right. I getting better at taking pictures of food is something I've been getting into. Sure. My Facebook audience is actually the weakest for my page. However, I've really been liking what we've been doing with Char Grill with the live cooks, and that sort of really got the wheels turning in my head, because the first time they brought that to us, I was like, okay, I don't really have the equipment to do this. And you and I talked about this a little bit. Mm-hmm. There's a certain amount of cleanliness when it comes to the production that if you're going to do it and you don't have the equipment, you have to let that go and say, okay, well, this one is it's a different experience that you're going to give to people now. And if they want to see it, they'll forgive the fact that you're wearing AirPods, which have absolutely terrible microphones, but you're going to be bouncing around doing a whole bunch of different stuff. Right. And that's been really fun, because it's been interactive. There's a weird challenge to it in that, I'm trying to cook this thing within a certain amount of time, and also try not to burn myself. And the beard is still new, so I'm trying not to burn the beard off. I mean, it's a whole different thing, and I'm really liking that. Right. So I might start doing a little bit more of that on my own Facebook page. Okay. But especially early, and I feel like it's still early on YouTube, even though I've been doing this for quite some time now, I guess. Right. I was always just I always heard it was very difficult to get an audience from one platform to another. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I always wanted to make those available and have them out there for people to find me. Right. But I really focused the bulk of my content to YouTube.
So if I was going to ask you, Steve, Cookout Coach, how do I do a rack of baby back ribs? If I was newer, what are you going to tell me how to do it? Let's hear it. What's your way, your go-to way, and explain a little bit about it is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Well, first I'd ask you what cooker you're cooking on.
I'm going to be using a pellet grill.
There you go.
It would make it easy.
This guy's using a pellet grill.
Yeah, right.
Or he's using a Weber kettle with an Ultra Q, which is very similar. So I like where your head's at.
Okay, there you go.
So what I would tell you to do is set it at 250 or 275. The days of the 225. If you want to do it like that, we can walk you through that. But for me, let's crank it up there. Let's render some fat. Let's get it up there at 275. Right. And get those ribs rubbed down with your favorite rub. We don't have to go crazy, but whatever your favorite barbecue rub is. In the beginning, mine was going to Kroger and just going straight off the shelf with some, what was it? It was Famous Dave's rib rub. Yeah. It worked fantastic for me. I'd hit it with a little mustard in that. If you don't like mustard, don't use that. If you do, go for it. But use your favorite barbecue rub, and let's get it on that cooker. At about 2 hours, I want you to take a look at it. And if that bark looks dark red, but not black, and it looks like it's set up good, we're going to pull it off. We're going to put it in some foil with just a little bit of brown sugar, a little bit of apple juice. And we're not going to get too crazy with it. If it doesn't look like it's ready yet, don't be afraid to leave them on there for another 15 minutes and check them. Mm-hmm. Once we decide that they're good to go, we're going to get them in that foil with that brown sugar and a little bit of apple juice I mentioned. We're going to wrap them meat side up for a different steaming effect. It just does something different to the texture. We're going to put them back on the cooker and let them run for another, we're going to check them in 45 minutes because baby backs have a little less fat in them than the St. Louis spare ribs. And so sometimes they can get done a little quicker. They're a little smaller as well. Now, what I want you to do when it comes to testing these out is if you've got heat gloves and nitrile gloves, I want you to get in there and actually pick them up. Not everybody has those kind of things. So if it comes down to it and all you've got is oven mitts, go ahead and leave it in the foil. But I want you to pick that foil up and give it the old slinky test.
Yep.
Exactly. Everybody, well, I guess not everybody. Anybody over 30 remembers the slinky commercials where you hold the slinky and it goes like this. If those ribs are doing the same thing.
I just said that in a comment today. It's funny because I just said if they're like a slinky, you got it, man. You know, so
there you go. Great minds think alike.
Right.
Then the last thing I want you to do, and this is something I've been learning myself, is let them rest. You know, don't cut right into those.
Right.
I don't care if you have a cooler and you want to throw them in a cooler, fantastic. You can leave them there for up to an hour. If you just want to throw them on the counter, leave them in that foil. Leave that foil closed tight for at least a half an hour, and it'll make a lot of difference. And especially if you cook them a little bit over, like I like them, giving it that time to calm down, it's going to make that bite a little bit better when you actually break into them. Then after that, break them open. If you've got hot sauce, you don't even need to throw them back on the pit. I'd really recommend at least having warm sauce. If you want to throw them back on the pit and set that sauce a little bit, that's great. I actually like a little bit of saucier ribs, so if my sauce is hot, I just pour it over it, let it sit there for a second, and I actually poured a little more sauce on it because I like sauce.
Yeah.
And that's what I would recommend to a new person throwing down some baby back ribs.
That's a good way to explain that. I mean, that's a good way. You know, I mean, that is always my thing too. If they're real, I always say in my videos, if they're real flexy, wow, these are flexy. You know, you can feel that when a rack of ribs is done, you can feel it. But for the, obviously for a lot of times for the first time cooker. And I don't call myself a pit master. I can barely call myself a backyard barbecuer sometimes. But when you've done it enough, you kind of know. You kind of know. So I remember like I was talking to David Bosco that one time, and just said, "Well, what makes you better, and what do you do?" And he goes, "Take notes, write it down, and all that." I'm terrible at that. I started doing that a long time ago, and it's like, I'm just not. So it's for me, it's like a repetition. Once I do it enough, it just sinks in, So, but good job. That's a good way of explaining how to do ribs, because I know you are a rib man. You love ribs, So, Charlie's asking again, what's your top favorite barbecue gift for Father's Day that's coming up next week?
Oh man, that's a great one. You can't top giving someone a great piece of meat, whatever their favorite thing to barbecue or cook is. Seasonings and tools and gadgets and gizmos. Unless you're going to buy them a brand new cooker, unless you're going to shell out that kind of cash. Next to that, get them a cowboy ribeye, get them a beautiful rack of rib. Splurge and get some Duroc or Karabuto pork. Get something special.
Right.
That's what I'd do.
That's what you do. It's like, if it's, if you're a spoiled dad, you should be getting like an MK4. Your family should be saying, hey, we're sick and tired of you like guessing, and your food is never done right. So get a ThermoWorks MK4. You got it done, thermal pen. But no, in all reality, the Father's Day is like always so fun as a father if you're into any type of hobby and your family pays attention. It doesn't matter if you're into golf or if you're in it, because that's actually like my birthday. I get like shirts and stuff like that. But on Father's Day, it's usually somebody's paying attention and gets me something like my hobby, So, but anyways, but I mean, yes, we all get the Father's Day tie at times too, But there you go, everybody. Buy your dad some good meat, not just the grocery store stuff. Go all out and get him a nice chunk of meat and say, let's make it, So, well, Steve, great job. I appreciate you coming in, man. Anything else you kind of want to leave us with?
No, just keep an eye out for that D-Cube video, because, man, I'm so excited to drop it and share it with people, because it's not just a video on the new cooker. It's a lot of insight into how my mind works and really a deeper level of showing my passion for this hobby. So I'm really excited to share it with you guys, and just keep an eye out. I swear it's coming.
Sure. Well, awesome, buddy. And and I'm going to be on for a little bit. So if you want to jump back in the chat, jump back in there and blabble away if you want to. But I appreciate you coming on, bud, and good job. And we will be looking for that video from you. I'm excited to see that and see you could do some cooks in it, and good luck. I'm sure I'll talk to you, but good luck in any competitions that you get into. And, if you don't become a pro this year, well, hey, COVID might screw that up, but there's always next year. So I'd love to see you get into that pro circuit. So, all right, keep it up going, buddy.
Thanks for having me, Ricer.
You bet, man. There you go. So thank you again. And that was a very good and educational conversation that we had there with Steve. He does like to teach. He never tells anybody that he's the smartest cooker in the world and all that because he's always learning. But the one thing that I've learned about from talking with him, that he does do research. He doesn't just guess. He does research, and he kind of takes a lot of different things that he's looking at and try to put it into how to tell somebody. So let's all give him a round of applause for the great conversation. I am going to say that both Steves tonight did fantastic. I knew they would. They both like to talk, so they did a good job, and, when it comes to barbecue, everybody kind of has their own little thing that they like to do. I still say that my favorite thing always to cook is ribeye steaks. I mean, man, I'll buy Packards and bring them home and chop them up, and it's like we're eating steaks 3 nights in a row just because I love them so much. But then, like anything, when it comes to like the low and slow cooks, man, there's something about beef plate ribs that I just can't get enough of. So everybody has their thing, but I know from watching Steve's videos, he really enjoys doing the baby back in the pork ribs and all that. So, all right. So I did see a couple people jump in a little later here. We got Richard. Hello from our new barbecue. How's that? Excuse me. How's that new camera going for you, bud? You getting in? Are you rocking out some clips and doing some testing? Laura, Cypress Blue, thank you, Laura, for joining me. I really appreciate that. Quester J, how you doing, buddy? Thanks, man. I'm glad to see you on. I really appreciate that. Skip, I think I gave you a shout out earlier, but thank you for joining me, bud. I really appreciate it. And, there's other people. Oh, Dad Incredible Todd, thank you. And good luck with your drums, dude. That's awesome. I'm happy to hear that, man. That's very cool. And what else? Just scroll through here because I saw a couple. Oh, Todd from Greenhorn Barbecue. Thanks for joining too, buddy. I think the rest of you I kind of did get. If there's a couple of you that jumped in and skipped by me, I'm sorry. I apologize. Hey, Sean Murray, how you doing, buddy? I'm doing good. Thanks for jumping in, dude. This week our giveaway was the with Uncle Steve's. It's all about Uncle Steve's this week, so there will be no hashtag in this video. Next week we do not have any guests. It is Father's Day, and I'm probably going to come on and do maybe my speakeasy with Ricer. I might come on for a little bit and all that. And talk for a little bit just to check in with everybody. But I do not have a actual guest next week on purpose because it's also, time for us to do a little family time. And we're going to do something. I don't know what. I mean, obviously I asked if we could just make a video, but we got to actually go somewhere, the way it sounds. So, and that's fine too. I don't mind that. But other than that, what a good show. I'm really happy with everybody's participation. Thank you for joining in. We've always have more available time to talk and get guests on. I've got a lot of people lined up. With Charlie's help, we had a lot of people scheduled. In the fall months, I'm not coaching football this year, but I am going to be helping out a little bit with football. So I probably will only do a couple interviews a month. I'm going to scale it back a little bit. And that way, though, I can also bring in some of the things for all the YouTubers that enjoy talking technical things and stuff like that, and gadgets of more of the production. I might throw a little bit of that stuff into my live streams again. I've done that in the past. In 2 weeks from now, I have Greg Rempe from the Barbecue Central show. He's going to be on. So that is going to be very cool to have him in. He's a excellent interviewer, and I'm excited because I'm a D minus interviewer, so I'm excited to have him, to interview him because he's done it for years and he's done it with the biggest and the best in barbecue. So that'll be fun in a couple weeks. But yeah, other than that, you guys got some questions for me? I do have a new camera coming, and I had to admit it to my wife. I've got the new Sony ZV-1 coming. It's a cool little camera, and any of you people that are using a cell phone right now and thinking about upgrading your production a little bit, that is a fixed lens. It's a point and shoot. You don't have to worry about different lens, but it has different focal points and all that. You take a look at that camera. They're calling it the vlogger's camera, which I kind of disagree on that part of it because a vlogging lens needs to be wider than a 24 mil. But the thing that I do like about it is a YouTube creator camera. There's a lot of things you can do it. I'd like to hear how to start a YouTube channel. Sure, Sean, throw me questions. Starting a YouTube channel, that's hey, thank you, Jason. I'm B minus. I'll take that. So hey, CJ, thanks for joining me, buddy. The starting a YouTube channel, everybody has their own ways of doing it. The biggest thing that I can tell you is you got to press record. I mean, you really just have to press record. I think a lot of things with my production brain, because I'm so damn fussy when it comes to technology and all that. I spend way more money than a lot of people do on production stuff because that's my other hobby. I mean, making videos is my other hobby. You don't have to buy what I have. It helps in some ways because I just make okay videos. I mean, I'm not this expert, like, holy cow, like type of video producer, videographer, or anything like that. I just make videos because I enjoy doing it. And so when you start a YouTube channel, number one, I'm going to tell you right off, you got to have a decent camera. You can get away with a nice cell phone camera. You can do it. It'll work fine. The mic in a cell phone is not that great, so you're going to want to get like a cheap little $20 little lav. If you look in one of my videos or in my videos in my descriptions, and I don't have that list, I'm sorry, opened up. But there's a good little mic called like a Boya mic. It's $20. It's got a nice long cord on it. Do that because people will be more easier going. Oh, it's all right, buddy. People are more easier going when you have not the greatest video quality, but people are very unconsciously fussy about audio. So audio is very important. This next video that I'm dropping on Monday, tomorrow, you will hear when I'm seasoning my lobster tails. You will hear a difference, and it's because my Rode wireless had an issue. Somehow, some way, it didn't get plugged in. It was plugged in, but it wasn't plugged in. But I am a redundant person, so I have one boom always above to pick up any extra in case something happens. And now I'm adding two. I got so pissed off, I'm adding two. So I have two boom mics. So, and I'll have my third camera. So I will have two boom mics and my wireless going because audio is the most important thing. Editing software, because I'm an Apple person and I've grown up in the Apple platform in I don't know what you call it, community. iMovie is really easy to use. I would suggest that you get something, cell phone, and you can use iMovie. It works really good. But starting out, man, cell phone is good. I mean, there's really great cameras on cell phones. That new iPhone is freaking unbelievable. There's plenty of room, Sean. There's plenty of room. I mean, what it is like YouTube is people find the people that they want to find. The people that subscribe to me like my personality. The people that subscribe to, I see Chef Johnny in there, they like Chef Johnny's personality. They like CJ's personality. They like Jason from Easy Bake. You know, they like all the different people that are in this chat right now. They just like their personality. Not everybody is going to like everybody. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, that's just simple. You know, there's people that might need a more of a direct, you know, this is how you do this. You know, I'm not that way. I am like, hey, you know, let's drink some wine straight out of the bottle. Let's go look at my swimming pool. You know, but no, there's plenty of room. In my opinion, I still say this. I say this all the time, that YouTube will fracture. Okay, it's like any type of platform out there. They go through changes. You might have a creative side of YouTube eventually, and then you might have more of a news type of thing. You might have more of a talk show type of thing, that they're going to split this up. So YouTube might not be around forever, but people watching videos to learn or for entertainment, it's going to be around forever. I mean, in my opinion, YouTube's going to have its own TV station. There's going to be the how-to network and all this type of stuff through YouTube, but that's years to come, you know, so we'll see. I'm thinking of a 20-something live stream of well, there you go, Quester. You'll get views on it. I guarantee you, you'll get views on it. And then there are asses like me. No, Chef Johnny, no, you're not an ass. You're like a hoot, man. I enjoy watching your videos, you know. You can tell that you know how to run a knife. So, no. Hello, Mr. Bukla. Thanks for joining me, buddy. You know, Mr. Bukla I think he's like on my comments. He's got like the heart because he always comments on all my videos. So thank you, young man. Or older man, I'm not really sure. But anyways, but YouTube's fun, man. Yeah, just get out there and do it. There you go. Yeah, you get deer around by you, Quester. I've seen your Instagram stuff. But no, anything else we want to talk about? You got me on for a few more minutes. You know, I mean, I have other things to do, but yeah. So if you check out my video tomorrow, while I season those lobster tails and I cut them open. Thank God I got my boom, but that was there for not when I'm over by the cooker, but you know, Kevin, that's a good question. Every YouTuber has their own certain thing that they do. Being a smaller niche, and that niche thing is great. It might take longer sometimes for your videos to like maybe produce more, but not really. If you're doing all the steaks or the dried age stuff, I've seen you do a lot of that stuff. Or now you got your Kingsford cooker, I think it is, that little offset. You know, if you do videos on that and keep on, I mean, there's a million things you can cook. There's a million things you can cook. I don't necessarily think that jumping from ship to ship is always the greatest thing. You know, sometimes you just cook for a while. But yeah, I mean, everybody has its personality. It really is personality in YouTube. You know, a lot of times people they come and watch because they might be interested in some type of cooker or some type of seasoning that you're using or that. They might come in, but to actually like stay on your side and become a subscriber and watch all your videos, they watch them because they like you. You know, that's really is. Yeah, smaller niche is hard to get away from, like CJ says. You know, I mean, it is. But it's not. There's nothing wrong with that, though. You know, there's nothing wrong with staying in that smaller niche, that one particular, because you know that's going to draw the majority of the people, and you might be the biggest person in that niche. You know, I'm pretty sure CJ is probably one. Yeah, sure, CJ. Feel free, man. Give me a call about it. No problem. Yeah, I can talk audio. And I can talk your ear off. But I audio is very important to me. If you can't tell by my videos and you can't tell by my show, it's very important. Let's get Rogers on here. What Roger are we looking for, Adam? I'm sorry if I'm being slow, but I'm not sure what Rogers. You mean Aaron Rodgers? I think A-Rod would tell me to go piss up a rope. But no, the one big thing from like like Charlie's prime example, he got a new little mic, and I noticed immediately when he started making those videos how much I could hear him better. So that's a good thing. You can call anytime, Jason, as long as it's not after like 12:30. I'm usually like watching YouTube in my bedroom at that time. That's where I watch most of my videos all the time now. Roku has made my life for YouTube viewing very easy. I like it. I wish they would come up with a little, and maybe they have it, I don't know, but like a little keyboard that they could like stick into that, put your remote control into a keyboard, then I could really, Oh, he has been on the show, Sean. He was on the show about a month maybe before you were. Yeah, so Rob was on. He's a hoot, man. I love his shack and how he's in there just cooking away. It's like, I asked him at one time, don't you get smoked out? No, I got it. I'm like, cool. The one guy that I need to get on is Mike 305. We've talked about it, but we just never got back to it. But I need to get Mike on. If you're still on here, Mike, I will put you on in September. Because, like I say, this fall I'm going to kind of maybe back off a little bit on most of the interviewing and we'll just bring up a term, bring up a subject and talk about it. I'm thinking about doing a little bit of that too. Oh, you got a Wi-Fi keyboard and it plugs into a USB hub on the smart TV. Oh, that sounds cool. I might have to look at that because, man, I feel guilty. I mean, I give them a thumbs up because I can do that, but I can't like say, hey, great job, Sean, or great job, Chef Johnny. And it's like, I watch it, give you a thumbs up, but yeah, Roku does. Man, it's just dumb. I'm so excited. I was so excited when I got rid of satellite TV. Now, I've had to change my viewing stuff, because I don't pay for everything. I'm not going to sit there like, whoa, let's get this dinner. I'm right back to having satellite. But we have the Disney thing because my kids. And I'm a Star Wars guy, so I did enjoy watching all the Star Wars stuff for a while. But, but the Disney Plus, it's okay. But after you've watched everything, you're like, well, are you going to put something up? Jesus. Netflix is cool. That's a cool one. We pay for that. And then I have Amazon Prime, but I have some specials through that or something. I don't remember. I don't pay very much for the Amazon Prime. That's what I used to have is Apple TV. I still have it, but I go because I quit buying. Like, how many people has thrown? You had all the VHS tapes of all your favorite movies, and then they came out with the DVD. So then you bought all your favorites of the DVDs, and now you just watch it digitally. So I was like. My wife was like, well, this is just like 6 months ago. She's like, hey, we should get rid of these and send them to Goodwill. And I'm like, people are just going to stare at them damn things. We should just throw them in the garbage. But no, we took them to Goodwill. But anyways. Yes, I will. Brooke, there you go. That's a great, great one. We will get Brian on. He's a good. He was pretty busy, and I thought about having him on this summer, but he has his little baby, and I'm like, and now he's back to making videos again and all that. I know somebody did ask about the Master Built, and I don't know if Steve knows much about the Master Built. I'm not sure. I don't remember. Netflix and chill. That's right. Yeah, just sit there and stare at it. Like the Tiger King is what like took me over. I mean, when my wife started explaining to me, I'm like, my mouth is dropped. I'm like, what type of show are you watching? And then I watched like 10 minutes and I'm like, oh, this is funny. There really is people like this? Man almighty. There's something there. No, I have not seen that, Jason. I have not, Artemis. Sorry, ma'am. I haven't. I don't usually get to control the controller for the Netflix stuff when everybody's watching that. I'm usually editing or answering comments in my little station here. And then, when I go into the bedroom, it's my controller in the bedroom for watching more YouTube. All right. Well, good. I'm glad you're in here still, Brian. Yeah, we'll get you in. I'm booked all the way through August, but I'm gonna just do a couple YouTubers a month and for a little pattern for a while. And it is because I'm gonna have to have some time to help out with some football coaching. I'm not going back as a head coach, but I'm gonna come in there and still. They want me to do it. I said okay a little bit, but not every night. Yes, it was you. I'm sorry. Another great. Yeah, well, it's not that I'm ignoring questions. God darn it, guys. I just don't have I don't want to bring the guest in for much more than 45 minutes typically. And, that's good. They can get a good conversation. Sometimes it's an hour, but, 30 to 45 minutes is long enough for everybody. And yeah, I end up, I can't, I got my questions that, I'm going to hog mine. Yeah, we'll have to talk to Keith one of these days and get him in here too. Might have to, talk about the fall mouth cook. I think it was what he was called before. Okay, Jake, maybe 1 out of 4 nights. How about that, buddy? Jake is now the new head coach of the team that I am retired from. So. Well, no, I don't usually ignore Jason's questions. Charlie's, I try to just ignore Charlie's. No, kidding. Charlie's like the question king. He's the master at it. You didn't miss much except for like mouth dropping, like what the beep am I watching there, Chef Johnny? Because I ain't kidding you. I mean, what? A bunch of meth heads and just weird. Really weird. And I can't believe that there's that many tigers, that's that big of a thing. I mean, really? All these little tiger cubs and all that crap? Wow. Crazy. Yeah, there's true. Yeah. My people. He's got that big baritone voice of his. That's for sure, Mona. That is for sure. Yeah, I know you are, Jason, I think you're like, you're a great question asker. Close enough. But other than that, no, I mean, so I'm not changing a lot of the things about the show or anything like that. I'm just going to scale it back a little bit for a few months. And then when it gets cold and sucks out, then we'll get back into having more guests. And we'll go from there. We'll see how it all goes. But I'm excited to just do a little bit of the one-on-one talks too. I take it and do it that way. But I don't know if Pickles is still in here. He might be sleeping already. Maybe Chris sent him to bed. I didn't see Goodnight Charlie in here, but maybe it happened. So, but anyways, everybody, it was a great show. I appreciate all of you guys for hanging out. A lot of fun. Great conversations with Steve. So it was, the vulgar chef. That's what it's called. Yeah. The grill and smoke barbecue video. Yeah, cool. Yes, that's Jeff. Yeah, he was in here earlier, so I'm glad he did mention me. He's a good guy. He's a prime example of a guy that and I'll make this quick, but a guy that had a lot of questions for me, and he started out, and instantly he was mad when he was making his videos, and then he just asked a few questions to me. Not that I told him everything. I mean, I gave him pointers, go watch this guy or check this out, and then all of a sudden his videos are getting pretty good. You just have to do it. You have to do it, and like they say, press record. So, but yes, thank you, Craig. Oh, there we go. I didn't say hello to Craig. I'm sorry about that, young man. Craig has got one of the most epic beards. If you haven't had a chance, go over and check it out. So, hey, Ricky, you're late, man. I'm getting ready to shut up the joint. We ran out of beer already. So, but anyways, thank you, everybody. No giveaway this week. Steve took care of that, and of course, Daddy Dutch wins. Hashtag rigged. But no, it was good. So, but thank you very much, everybody. And we're going to call her a night. All right, let's get to the outro.
It's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Thank you so much for joining Ricer on BBQ Tavern Talk. Before you go, make sure you hit that thumbs up or hit the thumbs down. Leave a comment. Subscribe. Hit the notification ringy bell. All of those YouTube things. Action figures sold separately. Batteries not included. If symptoms persist, seek medical attention. Only one per household. Call toll-free number before digging. Caution, filling is hot. Do not fold, spindle, or mutilate. Do not remove tag under penalty of law. Refrigerate after opening. In the unlikely event of a water landing, your seat cushion may be used as a flotation device.